Yes. So the short answer to that is there's nothing precluding financing being obtained by the liquidator when we're in a liquidation. That can be done by security on an asset or any kind of borrowing. The one caveat to that is you need to have the approval of the court for it. Mm-hmm. It's also not common if there's not assets available in the estate for the liquidator to be able to realize against, that you can have creditor financing or actually even litigation financing, which I think is growing in popularity.
Yes, yes, it is. Is it common to have post-insolvency lending going on, or is that more the exception rather than the rule?
Well, I think it depends on what the situation is, sort of a factual dependent scenario, right? I mean, in my personal experience, you don't see a lot of it. Either there's assets that can be realized again to fund the estate or they're not. They don't normally go into a borrowing situation. So what you see more often is either creditors providing financing where there are no assets available, or the litigation financing if that's available.
Right. Yeah. Right. Well, it's similar in the United States. We have a bankruptcy code provision that allows the debtor to obtain post-petition or post-bankruptcy financing, and the law allows the lender to obtain either a lien or a charge that's either equal to the other liens or charges or superior to, and that's designed to incentivize lenders to provide relief for the debtors post-bankruptcy. When this was first introduced in 1978, this provision allowing for post-petition lending, I think there were a lot of banks and financial institutions that thought that this would be a profitable path, and experience showed that it wasn't. And so I think nowadays we see basically the pre-bankruptcy secured creditor providing the post-petition lending in order to shore up a bad situation rather than new lenders jumping in.
Okay, yeah, it's interesting.
How much, a lot of times with respect to these post-petition loans, or what we call DIP loans for debtor in possession, it usually ends up being the unsecured creditors committee that ends up negotiating the terms with the lender at some point, because they're more likely to have a little added leverage than the debtor does in that situation. Is that common in the Cayman Islands?
The one big difference is you don't really have the same kind of debtor in possession kind of concept to begin with, right? So remember that we're going to have a liquidator that's going to be in place that's going to be doing this. So the liquidators on it will have a creditors committee, but that creditors committee is going to be approving what the liquidator does, essentially. So in Cayman, it would be the liquidator to be going out and negotiating these things, and then normally having it approved by the creditors committee, the liquidation committee we refer to it as, and then having it approved by the court. So you don't see the creditors having that sort of direct impact.
Right.